If you've got a lot of back or hip pain and you need that instant relief, this routine is perfect for that. I love this for first thing in the morning too. It's gonna warm you up, get some of those kinks out from sleeping, and help you move into the day pain-free. If you've got a yoga block handy or even just a simple pillow, that will be helpful for this routine. Let's get started. We're gonna begin really gentle down on the floor. So go ahead and lay on your back. This can totally be done in your bed if you want, but lay on your back with your knees bent, feet planted firmly on the floor. Just begin to feel the floor beneath your back. Take a nice deep breath in and let that breath out. We're starting really gentle here just to kind of start to wake up the muscles surrounding your spine, surrounding your hips, making sure that we're not doing anything that's jarring. Really try to allow your shoulders to relax, the muscles around your shoulder girdle to release tension. We're gonna start to bring some awareness to your pelvis. So what I want you to do now is tuck your pelvis under so you feel your low back connecting firmly against the floor. It's called a pelvic tilt. You should feel your low back pressing down into the floor as your tailbone is tucked under. Don't lift, we're not doing bridges yet. Keep that connection and exhale. And then release the tilt. You might create a little bit of an arch there now that the tilt is no longer there. Let's find that again. Go ahead and tuck your tailbone, pressing your low back down into the floor, and exhale. And release. We're gonna go 2 more of those. Tuck your tailbone. This time squeeze your glutes just a little bit. Squeeze your buns and exhale. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. Let's release that tilt again so that you feel a slight arch at your low back. And then 1 more. Tail tucks, back presses into the floor, and exhale. Let's go ahead and release the tilt. Grab your left knee now and squeeze this knee in towards your chest. We're doing just a really gentle glute stretch here. If this feels fine, see if you can extend your right leg long against the ground. If that is not feeling okay, just keep your knee bent here. But you might feel a little bit of a deeper stretch if that right leg is extended out straight. You might even feel it in your hip flexor on that side, but we're just squeezing that knee in. Let's do a deep inhale. Exhaling the air all the way out, squeeze a little tighter. And release that foot back down to the floor. We're gonna switch sides. So now grab the right knee comes in towards your chest, squeeze it in. If this feels great, go ahead and extend the left leg out along the floor. Exhale. It's always when you exhale that breath, when you let the air out, that is when your muscles will release their tension. Any guarding or gripping your body is doing, that's when it will let go. Let's go ahead and bring your left foot back planted. Send the right foot back down to the floor. From here, I want you to actually spread your feet so that they're about the width of your mat, so a little bit wider than you normally would. We're gonna do that pelvic tilt again, so tuck your tailbone under. We're gonna keep your low back anchored against the floor. As we do knee drops, so we're gonna take your left knee and drop it down in towards the floor. Bring it back up to the ceiling. Drop your right knee inward and down. It's not gonna touch. Don't worry, you're not trying to get it to touch. We're just doing these internal drops, hip drops. We're going back and forth. Right knee, left knee. Make sure that your low back is anchored. That way we're not getting any unnecessary arching or twisting at your lumbar spine. We want all of this action happening at the hip socket. Keep that good deep breathing. Let's go left leg, right leg. 1 more each side. We're just slowly starting to bring a little bit of movement through your hips. Good job. So now knees are pointing up to the ceiling. Let's heel toe your feet back towards center, not touching, about hip width apart. I want you to squeeze your glutes, so bring a little bit of engagement to your glutes, and we're gonna pick your hips up off the floor. Not very high, I don't want you to arch, but I do want you to be firing up your glutes here. Go ahead and set your hips right back down on the floor, release the squeeze, and then do it again. Squeeze your glutes and push your hips up. and release it back down. Again, squeeze glutes. So it's almost like a two-step process. You're gonna squeeze first and then push the hips up. Release it down, squeeze, lift. Good job, release it down, squeeze, lift, release it down. We're gonna go 2 more of these, squeeze, lift, and you might even feel your hip flexors lengthening a little bit in this position. We're gonna target those a little bit more in a minute here. Squeeze and lift. Good job. Go ahead and lay down. Okay, so we're gonna lay on your side now. So in this position, this is where having that pillow or a yoga block could be handy. I'm gonna use the pillow here. So I want you to position the pillow between your knees and pull your knees up to hip level, okay? So that you're at this like 90-90 position. Arms are gonna be out in front of you. Make sure that your top knee is slightly more forward than your bottom knee, and then squeeze into the pillow. So really squeeze on that pillow. Hands are gonna be stacked. You can let your head lay on the floor. Let's initiate the motion. We're just gonna take this top arm and reach it really far forward, and then we're gonna lay that arm out behind you. Keep your knees squeezing together, and you're gonna feel this stretch across your upper body, and then bring it back. And I know it feels kind of counterintuitive, let's go again, to be doing an upper body stretch for your back and hips, but so much of low back pain and hip tension can be caused by having a really tight upper spine. Let's go again. And this is one of those stretches that's just magic, but you gotta keep those knees squeezing into the pillow or pressing into each other. We're gonna go 1 more of these. Really reach your arm forward first, and then lay it back. We're gonna hang out here in this position for 3 deep breaths. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Really squeeze those knees together. Inhale and exhale. Bring that hand back to where it started, and we're gonna flip around and do the other side. So ease up gently. Now we're gonna face the other way, squeezing that pillow between your knees. We're just starting to get a little bit more movement going in the body. Shoulders are stacked, making sure that this top knee is slightly more forward than the bottom knee, and your knees need to be up at hip level. When you did that rotation on the other side, if you ever felt any pinching at your low back, it probably meant that your knees were not up high enough. They were too far down towards your feet. So bring them up high, squeeze into the pillow. We're gonna reach this top arm forward and then lay it out behind you. Bring it back, and my wall behind me is a little bit too close to me, so I'm not able to lay it all the way open, but you do your best here. You might find that you got a lot of space behind you, and you can really lay those knuckles close to the floor. We're gonna do 1 more, and this time we're gonna hold it, okay, for a couple deep breaths. Really reach forward, open up behind you, and exhale. Keep those knees squeezing together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, allowing your arm to hang a little lower to the floor. Inhale and exhale. Good job. Bring that top hand back to where it started, and then we're gonna climb up onto your seat. You can get rid of the pillow now, and actually this pillow could be handy to put underneath your bum on this right side, okay? So we've got it behind you, and your legs are kind of in what looks like, I like to call it like a cheerleader sit, like if you were a cheerleader in high school, you're kind of sitting on the ground like this, but we've got your legs out behind you in that direction. In this position, I want you to think about arching your tail out behind you, because immediately here, it's gonna wanna be tucking you under, but sit up as tall as you possibly can. If this is really difficult to start with, you can begin with your arms out behind you and just lean back. That's perfectly fine, allowing your hips to just start to settle into the position. But if you're able to lean up or sit up really straight and tall, we're gonna inhale, exhale, and lean straight forward, feeling that nice stretch deep in your hip. Go ahead and sit up. This time we're gonna inhale and go a little bit off to the right. Now a little bit further over where that knee is. Make sure that you're not just collapsing. And we're gonna go a little bit more rotated to the right even still. Let's sit up again. We're gonna do this next one going straight forward like our very first repetition, pushing into that hip. Sit up. Now we're over the knee a little bit more. Go ahead and sit up straight again, and we're gonna rotate a little bit further to the right. Good job. Go ahead and ease out of this position. We're gonna switch sides, so your feet are gonna flop around the other way. If you want, you can put that pillow. This is where a yoga block can be handy too. That might get you up a little bit higher. So feet are out behind you. Make sure that your hips are out behind you, not slumped under. Sit up really straight. Inhale, exhale, and lean straight forward. Inhale, exhale, this time over towards the knee. Inhale, and then we're gonna exhale over the thigh. Don't be too aggressive with your twist there. It might feel better to stay kind of at knee level. That's totally fine. We're gonna go through those 3 movements again. Maybe a little deeper this time, pressing into your hip. Inhale, exhale over the knee. One more time this way. Inhale, exhale, kind of over the thigh. Good job. Okay, so now we're done with the pillow, although you might want it under this knee because we're now up in a half kneeling position. So putting it under that knee might actually feel helpful. If it's bothersome for you at all, you can actually take your yoga mat and roll it up and have that be a much firmer cushion for your knee. But we've got one knee down here, and we're gonna tuck your tail down in this position, reach your left arm up to the sky. So we've got left knee down, left arm is up, and we're gonna press, squeezing with your left glute to press your hips forward. We should be feeling that hip flexor stretch here. I told you we'd be digging into that today. So we're gonna ease off of that, press into that stretch again, ease off of it, and press in again. Ease off. So we're gonna actually add on to this. So position your right foot a little further forward out in front of you. You can bring this hand back down to the floor. We're gonna press your hips forward. Don't lose that pelvic tilt. Press your hips forward, and then we're gonna actually rock into a hamstring stretch. If you need to hold on to the wall or a table beside you, you can. So we're sending your hips out behind you like you're sitting on a tiny little stool, and your leg is nice and straight. We're up on your heel. Let's ease up out of that, find that pelvic tilt, press into your hip flexor again, and then we're gonna back off, finding that hamstring stretch again. So we're just gonna kind of rock between these 2 positions, tucking tail at the top, pressing into that left hip bone, rock it back into the hamstring stretch. Making sure that in each position you've got great posture. One more here in that hamstring stretch. And then we're gonna switch sides, okay? So we're really starting to heat those muscles up. We're using the strength of your muscles to help you through the stretches. Let's target that hip flexor on this side now. So tuck your tailbone under, squeezing through your glutes. We're gonna reach that right arm up to the sky, press your hip bone forward, and then ease off. Do that again, press your hip bone forward, ease off, keeping it dynamic. 2 more just like this, press it forward, ease off, 1 more, press forward, ease off. So now we gotta position this left foot forward a little bit further. Hands can be on your hips, press into that hip flexor, and now we're gonna straighten that front leg and sit on that tiny little baby stool that's out behind you. Go ahead and press up into that hip flexor stretch again, making sure that you're never dumping into your low back, keeping your pelvis tucked for that stretch, and then rock it back into your hamstring stretch. Keep going between those 2 positions, starting to heat it up. It's a very active stretch here, pushing down into the ground so you're really firing up both the hip flexor and the hamstring. Let's go 1 more, pressing it forward, easing it back. Good job. Okay, so we can get rid of the pillow now. We're gonna make it all the way up onto your feet, so come up. Standing up now, so hips should feel nice and loose and a little bit heated up. Standing up, making sure that you're not arching at your back. Tuck your tailbone under, reach your arms really high up to the sky. We're gonna clasp your fingers together, lean your body to the left as you press really firmly into your right foot. Come back through center. Lean your body to the right, press firmly into the left foot to keep that side grounded. Back through center and then fold, bending your knees. We're gonna fold over your thighs, feeling that nice long hang. Press through your legs to rise back up. Standing up straight, legs are straight now, arms are clasped, hands are clasped. Lean left, pressing into the right foot. Come back through center, lean to the right. Back through center, bend the knees, and we're gonna fold all the way forward. Rise up again. Standing up nice and tall and straight. We've got one more just like this. Squeeze the buns, making sure that your glutes are firing and active. As long as your glutes are staying engaged all day long, you're gonna find that that helps your back so much better. If you feel ready, you can have your knees straight here. As long as you don't feel like you're just doing a full rounding through your low back, it should feel like you're fairly controlled through your spine, a little bit straight, feeling that deep stretch through your hamstrings. Nice big exhale. And bend through the legs to rise on up. All right, there we go, we did it. I hope that felt so good for you and you feel so much relief from that back and hip pain already. And you feel energized and ready to move on with your day. Feel free to do this one anytime. This does not have to be a morning routine, although it feels so great in the morning. Thank you again for joining me today. Be sure to let me know what you thought of this quick routine in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.